Now, I don't like to toot my own horn or anything, but I can throw down in the kitchen myself. I make a mean pot of beef ramen. What's going on, everybody? It's the Granddad Woolly, and you are here again for another edition of Woolly Reviews Film Data Netflix Pick. We got a movie review today, and we're going to be talking about a movie that actually came out in the middle of last year, but it was a limited release, and I heard about it, but I was not able to see it because they didn't show it love to where I was at, and I couldn't find anywhere to go see it. I was kind of pissed about it, so I had to wait until they dropped it and showed it on Netflix for that Netflix love, so I could be able to talk about it to you guys. And finally, it's here, so let's holler at it. Talking about the movie Chef. Now, Chef is written, directed by, and stars John Favreau as the character Carl Casper. Yes, Carl Casper. He is an up-and-coming chef in California, and the movie centers around him and his passion and love for food. He goes through a whole roller coaster ride of events that happens in his life, all starting with this sort of bad experience he had with a food critic, actually the top food critic in California, who actually went to the restaurant to try out his food, and things didn't go as planned, and he actually sort of spiraled out of control through Twitter, a little bit of a Twitter war, and a viral video, and all these things that just pretty much just derailed his entire career, and he has to pretty much start anew. So without being able to try to find any kind of work or job because of the events that happened with this food critic, and it was blowing up online with the video and stuff like that, he has to figure out a way to rebuild himself, and not only that, but his passion for food. On top of that, he has to balance the relationship that he has with his young son that he really doesn't have a connection with at this point, because he's so wrapped up in his head with what's he going to do about, being able to get his career back. On top of that, the distant relationship that he has with his ex-wife, which there seems to be on a friendly basis, but there seems to be some sort of lingering emotions or tension or feelings there that neither of them want to recognize or I guess admit at some point. So through all that, he ends up finally, deciding to actually open up a food truck to make Cuban sandwiches or Cubanos, and he goes all the way to Miami. And he goes on a cross-country, drive from Miami back to California, and he's actually, rebuilding himself, rebuilding his, name and his status by this food truck that he, for the most part, didn't want to do in the beginning because he thought it was beneath him, and he really wanted to be like a high-profile chef. But he found out by doing that he really wasn't as happy as he is being in this food truck, and he's actually, has his son along with him and his sidekick, who's played by John Leguizamo. And they're actually just going from city to city, building up their name. It's sort of like just, rebuilding who Carl Casper is, and, trying to diminish all the negative things that happened with in LA and California with the food critic, and building up a new foundation based off this food truck that he started. During all that, you also see him reconnecting with his son, and them actually, starting to bond, and he actually is taking his son under his wing and showing him how to actually be a chef and how to cook on the line, and you see that forming of actual father-son bond that wasn't there in the very beginning of the movie. And on top of that, the food that they make in this fucking movie is amazingly fucking amazing looking. This is like food porn on steroids. Like, don't watch this movie on a fucking empty stomach, because you will be fucking hating on them, because the shit that they make, I don't know if John Favreau really can cook like this, or if he just took some classes, but this nigga need to come to my house and cook, because he was making some good looking shit. I'm telling you right there. I mean, like, wow, like the dishes that they had on here, just and the way that it's cooked and the way that it's filmed, everything on here just oozes out. You can tell that this guy has a passion for food and for cooking, and the story that goes along with it, it's a strong story, and the cast that they have here is amazing. I'm surprised that this movie wasn't a major release with the type of supporting cast that John Favreau got. He must have called in a lot of favors, because he's got Sofia Vergara, like I said, John Leguizamo, Robert Downey Jr. is in there, Scarlett Johansson, Dustin Hoffman, just to name a few. And it's just like, even Russell Peters comes in, and he does this. It's this funny part with Russell Peters in the movie. He makes a cameo appearance. There's a lot of big names in this movie, but none of them outshine John Favreau's character, Carl Casper, in the acting job that he does. Everybody does great, but he really is the center and focus of this movie, and you actually get invested with this character, and to see that him come from the bottom of the barrel to where he felt like he just lost it all, to rebuilding himself, and everything sort of coming full circle, especially at the end of the movie. It's a really great story, and it was written really, really well, and I'm very impressed that, John Favreau was able to write a story so good, direct it, and still act in it and portray this character so well. And I think it's because he wrote the character, through himself, where he got to see visions himself, and it really worked. On top of that, the movie is funny. It's a very comedic movie. It's enjoyable, it's entertaining, the story's strong, everything in this movie is grade A, spot on, and there is not one thing about this movie that I said that I hated, because I love this movie. This is a great movie. I'm glad that I was actually finally able to see it, because when I saw the previews and the cast and just the approach of the movie, it just really intrigued me, and then to see it and then actually see everything come together so well and seamlessly, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing to see that a movie is actually portrayed this well, especially without a huge budget. But with the right talent and the right acting and the right story, you can make any movie great. And Chef is a very, very good testament to that. So if you are looking for a movie with a strong story, it's got a love story, it's got a father-son, it's a family story, it's a funny comedy, it's got a started from the bottom, bottom of the barrel, and then you work your way back up story. It's got all those things in one, and it's just an entertaining and great movie to watch. It's a little bit under 2 hours, but when you're watching this movie, you really don't tell, because you're sucked into it. And the food on here, just looking at the food in here, you're gonna salivate, you're gonna be licking your lips, you're gonna be like, God damn, I wish I was there eating some of that shit, because it looks amazing. So you might want to eat before you watch this movie, because you will get hungry. But nothing more to say. This movie was on point, top notch. I loved it. Hey, good job, John Favreau. You need to make Chef too. Let me be in that movie. I want to be on extra. Let me taste some of the food. That's all I gotta say. So my final verdict: I'm not saying that Chef is an all-around great movie from top to bottom, talking from the cast to the acting to the story. All I'm saying is that John Favreau, I don't know what was in his pen that day, but the script that he wrote for this, it was on point, immaculate. It has everything that you can need in a good movie. It's funny. It tells a compelling story. You really get behind the main character, and you really want him to see him come from the bottom and just, make his way out of the dumps. And the supporting cast that he's got on here, he's got great talent to back him up, and they really let him still shine while still playing their respective roles. And it's just an all-around solid movie, and I really wish this would have got put out on a larger scale. It deserves to be. They should re-release this movie for theaters, because this is one of the best movies. If I would have saw this movie in 2014 like I wanted to, this would have guaranteed been on my top list, that I did at the end of the year. But better late than never. And all I gotta say for me is that Chef is 100% Granddad approved. So definitely go check it out. It's on Netflix right now. It's got 5 stars if you look at it, and it is rightfully got that 5 stars. If you watch this movie, you will love it. But don't watch it on an empty stomach, like I said, because you're going to get hungry, because the shit looks delicious. Really, god damn. They was throwing down. John Favreau, if you see this, yo, come to my house and cook some food. I don't care what the fuck it is. Well, I'll cook some ramen, and you make some filet mignon, and then we'll say we both did it together. All right? But nothing more to say, all right? Chef, it's Granddad approved. Flip it. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Make sure you give me a thumbs up and drop a comment. Tell me what you think of Chef if you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, like I said, it's on Netflix right now. Go check it out. If you don't got Netflix, go find somebody who has Netflix, or at least get their password, because this is a movie that you definitely have to see. Just don't be hungry watching it. Previous video is on the side, as well as my music video. Check those out, show them some love. And as always, Twitter, Facebook, SoundCloud, Instagram. Links in the description below. And subscribe. Button on the screen. Button below. Woolly Reviews. Twice a week. And don't forget, my new gaming channel, Gaming with the Granddad, is out now. I just put out some more videos. There's 2 new Dying Light gameplays from yesterday. And today I just dropped a Mario Kart 8 gameplay that's hilarious. Fuck Mario Kart TV. Watch it and you know what I'm talking about. And that's all I got to say. So until next time, I take my leave. Granddaughter, Chef, delicious food, but don't watch it on an empty stomach. You know what the fuck I'm saying. Chef, I'm out of here.